struggle. And our auntie here was the driving force behind us in those days. However, I recall, particularly when we dispersed all over the country, igniting protests and registering a lot of displeasure over the political situation in Nigeria at the time, and especially getting the opinion leaders across the country, across all strata of society, religions, ethnic, economic, all kinds of. We went round the country to ginger these people whose voices were powerful in the nation to put pressure on the military. Tunji Bello, I'm happy is here, he was one of us. But all the while, every day and every night, we were meeting in Dr. Doyin Abiola's flat in the MK Abiola mansion. And so, people who were lily-livered, who could not take a stand at that time, will say publicly, I stand on June 12. In the daytime, at night, they will scurry all around, planning to sabotage the same June 12. Since then, I stopped standing on existing protocols. Ladies and gentlemen, Your Excellencies, it's really very emotional for me personally to be here to pay tribute to my auntie. I was a brother she never had, and she told me so, not once, not twice, not thrice, but severally. And that was an eloquent testimony to the deep relationship that I had with her. She told me pointedly several times, Dele, you are the brother I never had. She was there for me, I was there for her with all sense of modesty, both officially, intellectually, politically, domestically. I was always there. I was at her beck and call. But primarily, what most people don't know about our auntie, a lot has been said about her intellectualism, about her journalistic prowess, about her standing in the society and all that, even about her political perspectives and views and persuasions. What most people don't know is that Dr. Abiola was a driving, compelling force, a juggernaut behind the entire June 12 saga from inception to the very end. And some of us were privileged to be there from inception to the very end. And so we went through the crucibles with her. In fact, the very first public knowledge of Chief M.K. Abiola's aspiration was not behind her. I was the one that Chief Abiola called to draft the public statement, which was titled, Why I Want to Serve. And then asked myself, Tunji Bello, Segun Babatope, to run the advert. And we advertised it in all Nigerian newspapers, all Nigerian radio stations, all Nigerian television stations. And that was the first public acknowledgement of his aspiration. And immediately after, Dr. Doyin Abiola gathered a few of us, again, myself, Tunji Bello, Segun Babatope, the late Chike Akabogu, Nnamdi Obasi. And we formed the nucleus of the intellectual arm of the entire saga throughout. And so we started to design the organogram of the campaign, which was later christened Hope 93 campaign. We drafted the organogram and suggested positions and names and all that. And I saw one of the people we suggested here tonight, and he's still here, for the post of the Director General of the campaign. If you recall, we named 3 people: the late Jonathan Zwingina, Chifaye Opadokun, and my elder brother, who is here, that I've seen, Dr. Ogunbi. And we presented these lists to Chief Abiola. He picked Jonathan Zwingina, and he told us because he was a Yoruba man, he didn't want the DG of the campaign to also be a Yoruba man. So he picked Jonathan Zwingina. And we took off. And the Concord House office, chairman's office, Dr. Abiola's apartment, became the amphitheaters of all the plannings and strategies and tactics that were executed throughout the struggle. And 3 very notable pointers came to mind when I heard of Dr. Abiola's demise, to show the kind of steely, the innermost steel that she had, even though her exteriors exuded calmness, coolness, but she was very fiery inside, very, very steely inside, very firm, and very courageous. The first thing was, we were in the throes of this struggle. Segun Babatope and I were prodding some of the military guys then to come in and de-annul the election, because we had waged the struggle for a long time, and we found that the civil society was powerless, was paralyzed. And I recall in one of the sitting rooms of a general then that we went to prod him to come and act. He said, he asked us, how many divisions or battalions did we have? None. So we found out that none of the civil society groups could do anything other than propaganda, other than rhetorics, other than noise. If you wanted to change an administration through the barrel of the gun, then you must possess armored tanks. But we had none. So on an occasion, we succeeded in prodding some of them into grouping together, and we told them it was the military that annulled the election, and it was the military that should come and de-annul it, even to safeguard their own image for the future. So we got some of them together, and they agreed, and we were meeting, Segun and I, we were meeting with them and planning the coup. It was a coup. And of course, Dr. Abiola was in the know, because we couldn't do it without her approval. And we went on and on and on and on until we got to a point that Segun and I were the only 2 civilians involved in this move to de-annul the election by force. And we were to meet with all the other generals on a Monday night. And one of the generals told Segun and I that they were doing this on behalf of Chief MQ Abiola, who was in England, in London, on a very short exile at that time. So we said we needed to verify from Chief Abiola. A meeting was, the final meeting before the push was slated for a Monday night, and this was a Saturday night. So Segun and I left. Segun was driving. On the 3rd Mainland Bridge, he started shaking. He couldn't drive again. He parked. His legs were shaking on the pedals because he kept saying that, I'm a journalist. I've never planned coup in my life. Oh, I don't want to be involved in this coup. I don't know. So, and then I gave him some pep talk, so I drove. And he said we should drive straight to Deeper Life Church in Bagada, because that was where he attended. So we drove straight to Deeper Life, called some pastors to pray for us because of what we were getting ourselves into, planning a coup with soldiers and all of that. And then we drove straight after that to Dr. Dare's house in Okpebi. Dr. Latunji Dare told us that, look, boys, you have to get out of the country fast, fast. If you attended that Monday meeting, you are going for the guillotine. So we went to Dr. Abiola's house and told her, Ma, this was what happened and all that. And she agreed we had to leave the country immediately. Now, unfortunately, my own visa had expired the month before. And that was a Saturday night. And the Monday, we could not afford to attend that final coup meeting. Now, Dr. Abiola came and did something very, very wonderful, and still a milestone till today. She got me a visa, a British visa, on a Sunday night in a private house. And I left Nigeria that night, Shegun and I. We had to run out to go and meet Chief Abiola in London. And we were with him, with another friend that I've seen there. And 2 days before Chief Abiola came back, Shegun and I came back. This other friend that I'm seeing now, we were together in London. He came back in the same aircraft, Air France, I remember, with Chief Abiola. And then we started again the second phase of the struggle until the Ekpetedo declaration. And after the declaration, of course, the rest is history. However, Dr. Abiola throughout was funding us, all the legworks, all the escapades, all the strategies we were executing towards the actualization of June 12 election. She was funding us. She was behind us. She was also feeding us, because most times we were moving from one hotel to the other. Once the security people knew this hotel where we were, Tunji and I will move again. There was a day we were distributing very subversive pamphlets. We put those things in Tunji's car, in Tunji Bello's car, and I told him to go to the National Stadium to go and distribute those things. On the way, the police caught him. But he escaped. He escaped. Now, the night before Chief Abiola declared himself the president at Ekpetedo, the speech of that declaration was the most sought-after script in Nigeria under the military then. Everybody was looking for that script, and it was in my pocket. Dr. Latunji Dare and I had drafted that speech, and I called Chief Abiola from Okpebi, and I told him, because soldiers had surrounded his house with armored tanks and all of that, no going out, no coming in. So I called him on phone. I said, Chairman, sir, the speech is ready, it's with me. But I couldn't get in to deliver it. He said, okay, what would you do? I said, I will go to a business center and fax it in. And that's what I did. Anyway, on my way to the business center, I hid the script under the carpet of the car, and I was driving. And I hit an armored tank with soldiers and all that, and they asked me to come down. I came down, they searched me, searched the car, and one of them discovered the script under the carpet of my car. And of course, my body was like, all over. But as fate would have it, he looked at it, he saw the title and everything, he turned it over, it was 9 pages, and he put it gently there and covered it with my carpet and asked me to go. That was how I went to the business center, faxed the speeches, every page to Chief M.K. Abiola, and he got out the next day, and we were at Ekpetedo, where he read the speech. Now, the story of how he got out, the media was awash with speculations of, oh, he dressed like a woman. No, he didn't do any sort of thing. That's a story for another day. It was not behind Dr. Doyin Abiola. She was a powerful, very powerful man, not a woman, a man of journalism, but a woman of the house who stood ramrod behind her husband, behind the aspiration of her husband. And for crying out loud, with more women like this in our body politic, Nigeria will never, never regress again. Thank you, Auntie, and good night, Auntie. Thank you.
Hands together for Uncle Dele Alake. Wow. To the Gen Zs, you can see the price that was paid for what you people are enjoying now. Anytime you are doing Dirty December, just remember this woman.